I want to remind everyone immediately following this fellowship will enjoy a wonderful meal. And after that, Unbinding the Gospel group will be meeting in the library probably around noon. Part of the background of this meditation is, what is it about Jesus? What did he do? What did he say? How did he present himself that made people all of a sudden stop what they were doing and follow him? And not just follow him, give their lives to him. And I want to investigate that a little bit over the next few weeks, if not months. So for the next 2 months, we're going to explore, and I hope discover, or perhaps rediscover, a meaningful relationship with Jesus for each of us. And then this will lead us up, of course, to the Advent season, where it would be my desire that our Christmas time would be even more enjoyable. Discovering Jesus is always exciting, even if it is rediscovering Jesus. This is certainly what I do almost every time I read the New Testament, and certainly virtually every time I read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's as if that they're speaking to me anew. And most often than not, saying I fall in love with this all over again might be not the correct language, but certainly there's something that stirs up inside me every time I reread about Jesus, and a deeper appreciation and another recommitment, and one that I made to Jesus when I was a little boy. I was a little boy, and I can remember it. I can remember it. And part of that was that I fell in love with Jesus, and I gave my life to Jesus, and I said, that's who I want to follow. And I've done that. Imperfectly, but I've done that. And that's one of the best things that's ever happened. Well, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Now, how this falling in love and how this encounter with Jesus, how exactly that happens, certainly can vary with different people and in different ways. But I want to give an imperfect analogy of how it may happen for some people, and certainly how it has happened with me sometimes. And this is imperfect, and it's an analogy, if nothing more, of how to look anew at Jesus. And in many ways, it's like looking at and through a complex stained glass window for whatever time you have done that, and you rediscover or discover something that strikes you. Now, the light flows in from the outside, metaphorically speaking, and that would be God, and it passes through the church, the people of God, and somehow it's refracted or reflected in some mysterious way, so that the beautiful face of Jesus, the very figure of Jesus, then is relit or reanimated in such a way that you see him in a different light and in a deeper appreciation. So there's the light that comes through that reflects who Jesus is, say through the stained glass. But also it has to do with one's eyes and where one chooses to sit and view stained glass window. Like, for example, I see Judy and Don Root back there. You can't see this stained glass here, so you wouldn't have any idea what I would be talking about. And in a similar way, those in the back would have no. So it depends on where you are and how you're viewing Jesus as to what you're going to see. For example, if you take the stained glass on the west side of the wall, over there, and particularly the one of the crucifixion, that's the one that I want to focus on. And you might want to, well, I would ask that what you do is following the worship, rather following eating, that what you do is come back up and you'll see what I mean, what I'm going to show you. And I do want to say about these stained glass windows, the woman that did them has admitted she did not know what she was doing, in the sense that all the meaning that can be found in these windows, she did not know she was putting that in. And one of these days, I've noticed about 7 or 8 things that are pretty mind-boggling. She had no idea that she did it. And one of these days, I'll share all of that, I'm sure. But today, what I want to do is show you about vision, show you about appreciating Jesus, show about perhaps rediscovering Jesus, maybe first time in a long time. You take the crucifixion, of course, for some it is the end of Jesus and his grand experiment in sacred freedom. And that is, in fact, what Jesus is about, sacred freedom. The mood here is somber and sad. There's a crown of thorns that rest on his head. His hands are pierced with nails, and blood is evident. And it's kind of interesting that the blood, she didn't know what she was doing. It's in a triangle, and that would represent what? The Trinity, maybe. And the blood of Christ. Anyway, but if you look closer at this particular stained glass window, and you move from one's preconceived ideas about the death of Jesus and what it means or doesn't mean, and you decide to move back a little and off to the side a little and take a new vision, take a new line of sight, if you will, you would find there's an imperfection in the glass, in the window, right next to Jesus, near his chest. There's a wiggle in the window, and you have to catch it just right. And when the light hits it just right, it explodes. And what it ends up being is a lightning bolt. And it is there, and you can see it. I'm not making that up. Alan can't see it because his vision doesn't permit him to see that. Because of where he is sitting, he can't see it. So for Alan to see that, he would have to change his position and the way that he looks at Jesus to see another side of Jesus. Now, obviously, what I'm suggesting is, and it's certainly about myself as well, is if you get stuck in a particular way, that this is the only way that Jesus can be seen, first of all, you may be wrong, but secondly, you're going to miss out on all sorts of other views of Jesus, and you're going to miss out on a deeper relationship with Jesus. So you have to get up, move around, see Jesus from different angles, from different perspectives, if you're going to rediscover Jesus in any kind of a meaningful way. This particular lightning bolt can remind us on the night that Jesus was crucified and when darkness came over the land, there in Mark's Gospel, chapter 15, starting at about 33. And it goes on and talks about, as a result of this storm and this conflagration that is boiling up in the bowels of humanity, and it has overtaken the ends of the cosmos. Now, for it ends up, this is not a provincial event that takes place in Jerusalem, but rather this is an event that touches, and understand this, the very ends of